Welcome to Get a Word In, a podcast about content marketing. I'm your host, Adam Walker. I'm passionate about sharing stories and knowledge through content, especially in the form of podcasting. In fact, I co-founded Edgewise.media, a podcast-first marketing content agency. On this show, I interview content marketers at some of the top companies in the world and discover what's working for them, what isn't, and most importantly, what's next. So stay tuned and get ready for some great content about content marketing. Joining me on the show today is Rachel Hislop, the VP of Marketing and Brand Innovation at Acceptance Insurance. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I can't wait to have this conversation. I know you do a ton of marketing, so your perspective is going to be really important today. But let's start with you. Who are you? What are you about? What do your days look like?
Okay. Well, I've been in the subprime lending, non-standard insurance space for over 15 years. I absolutely love what I do, serving the underserved in unique ways. No one thinks insurance is sexy because it's not. And I have the opportunity to find, marketing ways and ways to work within the communities to make ourselves relevant. And my days, what they look like, oh my gosh. Well, anything from being here with you today to building a house for one of our team members with Habitat for Humanity, doing some mentoring across town with the Entrepreneur Center, or, giving blood, or even, creating a flyer, if one of my designers is out. So it's kind of an all hands on deck, whatever the team needs. And I lead one of the most amazing teams that I've ever had here at Acceptance Insurance. And I'm just so proud of everything we've done. I've been here for 3 years. And under those 3 years, we made such a difference in the 13 states that we've had the pleasure to be in that I just can't wait to see where we go.
I will say I've met some of your team members and they are lovely individuals. So I can at least vouch for that part of it. But that sounds pretty amazing. I mean, building a Habitat for Humanity home for one of your team members. Wow. What could be more rewarding than that? That's pretty fantastic. All right. But let's dive into content. We're going to talk content marketing. So what's working related to content marketing from your perspective?
So what's working is making sure that it's relevant, right? You can't just make content for content's sake. Just putting stuff out there because you need to hit a metric is not what our consumers need. We want to make sure that we're there when they need us. And so whether that's helping our team members with flyers to help be out in the community, to help people with education policy reviews, or even do some reels on why you need renter's insurance, it's just making sure it's educational and timely. And so, there's been so many things that have, gone on in the, economy, and there's some fractured trust between brands. And a lot of it is just making sure that we're being real, having user-generated content, and really showing our hearts. And it's not just about the business, it's the people behind the business that makes it work.
I love that. It's the people behind the business that makes it work. That's kind of a beautiful quote. And you're totally right? I love that point. Like, for too long, brands have done like that whole self-promotion. Look at me. Look at our new program. Look at our new thing. And it's like, nobody wants to see that. We want to know what's real. We want to be authentic, and we want to see stuff that actually helps us in our day-to-day lives. And like to your point, like renter's insurance. Like when I first rented a place, I had no concept of renter's insurance at all. But like people need to have a concept. It's real important, So, okay, that's really very helpful. So, all right. So then next question, I love this one because I get a plethora of answers and it's always fascinating. What's not working in content marketing right now? Like, what are you shutting down?
So it's just like that, you have to stick with a formula. Like, there's this like master formula out there and you have to hit these metrics and marks. It's like, you have to do the testing. You have to test. You have to be afraid of that things are going to fail. You can't just do safe content. I'm in a highly regulated industry. So just imagine, us trying to get through, doing stuff. We have to push the boundaries a little bit. You can't just stick with a formula, do what's safe, and think that people are going to care or resonate with your content. You need to meet people where they are. And, sometimes that's going to be out of your comfort zone. Sometimes that's going to be, doing a TikTok dance with your CEO just because people want to see, oh, there's a real person behind there. So just, having that, plastered content that has no feeling, that's just, line art, like it needs to be more than just, a graphic, on TikTok or a graphic on, Instagram. It has to be, you have to have some heart behind it.
So I have to ask, Do you have a TikTok video with your CEO dancing?
We're convincing him. That's kind of why I put that out there. I'm like, well, maybe if it's on this podcast, I could.
I mean, I will say, like that would, I mean, it does humanize the brand a lot, right? To do that, like it makes me think of like some of the stuff that the T-Mobile CEOs have done, where they like were very human, very like they're on the commercial off the cuff, or they're on Twitter or whatever else. Like it does humanize the brand and kind of endear the brand to people with that sort of stuff. But most CEOs that I have known would have been very reluctant to do such a thing. So I would be profoundly impressed with your skills as an influencer if you can pull that off. Let me know. I will promote it like crazy. That sounds amazing.
Tune in. It's going to happen. I got my fingers crossed, and we got a whole group of people behind here, supporting it. We had a whole Where's Winky promotion where Winky is our mascot, and we had everything from Winky on a cruise to Winky up on a telephone pole, but we even had like people just around the company just posting where was Winky, kind of like that Flat Stanley type of thing.
Yes,
from
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we did that, and we got a lot of our executives involved in that too, which was just absolutely wonderful.
That kind of content is so much fun, right? Because it's not necessarily, in a way directly related to insurance, but it's just valuable. It's fun. It shows the personality of the brand. And to your point, it's not just plastering content out without any feeling. It's real, and I love that. That's so great. Okay. All right. So next up, tell me what channels are working. Like, where are you focused? I guess what I'm saying is like, where are you seeing the most results, the most engagement?
Yeah. So Instagram and TikTok are the two places that we are seeing the most engagement. And I mean, it's because, again, it's not static content. You have that visualization, you have that, behind the scenes type, action. My social media manager was just in here taking pictures of me doing this just to show, what happens in the day of the life of a, vice president of marketing. But we really have dove into Reels. And then surprisingly, we're a multi-unit company. So Google My Business, we really dove into making sure that those pages reflect what the stores are doing, just making sure that all the content is right. And, when you have a multi-unit retail location, you want to make sure that everybody knows what's happening at that specific location.
I mean, the Google My Business part is so critical, but I do want to focus for a second on the Instagram and TikTok. So I'm curious, like, because they're so similar, but I feel like they're so different. And so do you have a different approach to each one? Do you have a different hashtag approach to each one? How do you view them? Do you view the audiences differently? Sort of break that down for me a little bit.
Yeah, so with our Instagram audience, that kind of bleeds over into our Facebook audience because we do have the opportunity to post on both platforms. So with that, it's an older audience for us in that regards. So having more of that informational content, making sure that we have headquarter content on there. It is more at the kind of corporate headquarters level. So making sure that we're really focusing on the broader scheme of things for all of our states. And then with TikTok, we're having a lot more fun with it because it is like, okay, what is the next trend? How can we be part of that trend? But how does that trend work within our insurance industry too? We don't want to be doing some trends that are a little cringy and then someone thinks something differently about our company. So making those trends relevant to our marketplace is really important. So with that, it's, again, a younger audience. It's more of that fun content. It's not selling content at all. It's just the educational, where we do have some opportunity on Instagram to sell a little bit more, like through our link trees, and making sure that people have that opportunity. If they need a quote real quick, they can just go onto our Instagram and they're one click away from it. So
okay. So then I'm curious, how should brands think about becoming a part of the trend without going to like that cringe factor? I mean, so I guess that breaks down into a couple of questions, right? Like, how do you identify a trend that you want to be a part of? And then how do you like begin to make content for that trend, and how do you make sure you don't go overboard or just whatever, however you want to answer that? I'm just so curious.
So here at Acceptance, we have a service vision that is take care of each other. And so everything ties back to take care of each other. How can we take care of our customers? How can we take care of our team members? And so when we're looking at trends, does it lean into that? Because we need to have 100%, certainty of who we are to make sure that it resonates. And so anytime we're looking at a trend, we bounce that up against, is this part of taking care of each other? And even if it's like, oh, this will make people laugh and have them engaged, then okay, laughter is the best medicine. So we do want to be part of that. But you have to be careful. Just because something's trendy does not mean that your business should do it. We've seen some failures on TikTok that I'm sure we're all aware of where it went a little in the wrong direction because somebody tried to be part of a trend. And so, but it's okay to test things as well. Just make sure that you have the backup and support of your executive team, like I have the pleasure of doing, that it's okay to fail, but let's learn and not do that again.
I like what you said, because I feel like in marketing, and especially at marketing at sort of a larger scale where you are, sometimes there's this idea of like not really wanting to push the envelope, not really wanting to test things because you sort of feel like everything has to have return on investment, ROI, ROI, ROI. So I'm curious then, like, how do you balance that? It's okay to test things. How do you balance how much you test versus how much you measure, how often you fail? Like, how do you think about that?
I mean, we test and measure everything. So from, impressions to engagement to followers, so all of that. I have a great analytics team here that keeps me all my numbers straight, which is wonderful. It's also the seasonality. So with our industry, right now tax season is our busy season. So with our busy season, we're not going to be testing as much because this is a time we have to be safe. And so for us, it's a real seasonality thing. Now, after busy season, we have more flexibility to test, to run more, to have that failure. But you don't want to do that when it's your Super Bowl, right? So right now, it's our Super Bowl. So we're not going to be just like pulling somebody off the bench that hasn't ever played before.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I think what I'm hearing you say is sort of know your limits, know your timing, know when it's a good season to try new things and focus on that, but maybe don't push the envelope during busy season. That seems like a bad idea. Okay. That's fair. All right. So Rachel, last question, and then I'll recap and we'll just, chat about whatever else. If you had to focus on just one thing related to content creation, content marketing for the next, 6 months, what would that one thing be for you?
So for me, it is SEO right now. It is making sure that we are where the searching is happening. We have, the chat GPT, we have the AI content, we have all of that stuff. And so we've been doing some testing with that, but just because it's out there doesn't mean, that's what you need to put your bandwagon on. So we've been testing a lot of things with, AI content to make sure that our web page and everything is viable, and that we have the content, but also with helping with SEO, it's expanding exponential reach. And also that's a space that I have an amazing team here that I can compete with the big guys. So, with that content, it's not about how much money you have, it's about how good your content is. And since I have such a great content team, I don't need those billion-dollar advertising budgets when I have somebody that can write, around the block of, the best things for, life insurance. And so it really helps, and that's what we're really digging into the next 6 months, is just making sure that we are ranking, with Google. We're using the tools that are relevant and, innovative. And again, you don't have to be, shout the loudest. You just have to make sure that you're being heard.
Yeah, I love what you said. You said it's not about how much money you have, it's about how good your content is. And that's been progressively the approach to SEO, increasingly so over time. And I think with the development of AI, it becomes even more relevant because AI can generate mediocre content. I think a friend of mine said, the race to mediocre content is here.
Yes.
The title, the tsunami of mediocre content is coming. But as long as your content is better than that, that's what Google's going to look for. And that's why they're going to rank you. And they're going to rank you for content that really means something that helps people, like you said earlier, rather than just content that's optimized for keywords, right? So I'm curious about that content creation. Is there anything you can share with us about how you think about creating quality content? Are there any particular methodologies that you prefer? Is it blogs or white papers or deep pages, or anything you can share with us about that would be really interesting.
So a lot of it is making sure that we're being seen as a trusted advisor in the insurance space. And to do that, it's anything from blogs that are, written in-house to articles to opportunities like this, speaking engagements, putting our, executive team and all team members out there to be seen as a trusted advisor, because insurance is scary and it's confusing. Let's be honest. No one's like, yes, I haven't, my insurance. No one is excited. No one's comparing insurance, ooh, who do you have? No one's doing that. So we need to make sure, seriously, everybody's like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I'm in insurance. I get to help people deal with life's uncertainties each day. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it like that. It's like, yeah, I get to help somebody when they're at their lowest. Like when somebody had a car wreck, that's the worst part of their day. And we get to be there and provide a solution for it. So, with that, it's really just making sure that it's helpful content, that it resonates, but also that it's not like industry speak. Like no one wants to, know what, the high insurance deductible, blah, blah, blah is. They want to know, how much am I going to have to pay out of pocket when I get in a wreck? Or when I'm on the side of the road stranded, and I need roadside assistance, like how long is it going to come, till somebody helps me? How much is it going to be? So really just making sure that it's not overproduced and that it's, conversational content that is actually, helpful. Like it's not, oh, I want to hear myself speak. It's, oh, here's something that could actually help you if there's a situation.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that, and it was one of my soapboxes, so I won't get on it too much. But that avoiding industry speak is so critical and so difficult, I find, for almost all marketers. Like, it's wild how easy it is to fall into all of the different industry speak. And we have to be really careful not to do that, So, all right. So, Rachel, if you'd indulge me, I'm going to recap our conversation as best I can and then ask you, did I miss anything or, anything you want to add to it? So, for what's working, you said, make sure it's relevant, no content for content's sake. We need to be there when people need us. So it's about timeliness. It's about relevancy. It needs to be educational and timely in terms of content. And you need to be real and authentic. That's what's working. Could not agree more. For what's not working, I like how you laid the groundwork for what's not working, because you said, you have to test and not be afraid that you're going to fail. You need to push the boundaries. You need to meet people where they are out of your comfort zone. And plastering content is not working and not the way to do that. It doesn't work. People don't like it. They just don't like it. For channels, you said the focus is Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is more similar to your Facebook audience, so content's more informational. You can sell a little bit more, be a little more direct. It's more corporate on Instagram. TikTok is more about having fun and being a part of the trend as best you can. You did mention that CEO dancing, which I really would like to see. Also, you said, as you look for TikTok trends to post with, I love this. And you didn't say it exactly this way, but basically you said you make sure that if you're going to get involved in a TikTok trend, it has to align with your values. And I love that because that's a really good filter for us to think about in terms of how we get involved in trends in any kind of marketing. And then you said, I wrote down this quote verbatim, just because something is trendy does not mean your business should do it. Yes. Thank you for that. Finally, related to focus, you said you're focused on SEO. You're making sure that you are where search is happening. You're testing AI content, testing your websites against AI content, I should say. You're testing web pages. And you said, and this was a verbatim quote too, she said, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how good your content is. And that has never been more true than it is today. Did I miss anything from our summary or anything you want to add to that?
No, absolutely perfect. This was wonderful.
This was a great conversation. Do you have any final thoughts related to marketing, content, or anything else you'd like to share with us?
My thing is get a mentor, support others. I am only where I am because of the people in my career that have supported me, and it is such a blessing to pass that on. So, just, live with gratitude, take care of each other, like our service vision says, and, there's nothing within, your reach that you can't grab if you have the support.
That's fantastic. Well, Rachel, can't thank you enough for being on the show. I'm absolutely going to invite you back very soon.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Get a Word In, brought to you by Edgewise.media, a podcast-first marketing content agency. To learn more about Edgewise, visit www.edgewise.media. I'm your host, Adam Walker. To connect with me, check out my blog at adamjwalker.com. Thanks for listening, and make sure to subscribe now so you don't miss our next great conversation about content marketing.